Hello, YouTube sphere. We getting started. Why it seems so cloudy? But we gonna make it work. I don't know why it seems that way, but my other camera started. We're gonna start shortly. It's Real Estate Tuesday, people. Yes, you know what it is. It's Real Estate Tuesday with your girl. Yes. We are getting started. It is Real Estate Tuesday. It's a great night to have a great night, great evening to have a great evening, great afternoon to have a great afternoon, wherever you are. So, every Tuesday, I'm coming live talking about real estate. So, let's get it started because I'm missing Trapping Tuesday. I was trying to get myself all the way together first, but it took a little bit longer. This time I had some technical difficulties, but we are here right now in this place, in the space for learning. Because I am Soria, the RE educator. I had rebranded myself because I'm an educator, right? So I educate. I've been an educator. I'm telling my age, but I started when I was 22. So I've been an educator since 2003. Okay. I started November 2003 and I have been going strong ever since. I took a couple years off, but I've been going strong ever since. So I love what I do. It's my purpose. So let's get into it. So why am I so passionate about real estate? First of all, my name is Tori Howard. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tori Howard. I am a realtor here in the beautiful city of Detroit and the surrounding areas. And I'm here to educate you. We're talking about home repairs today and how it can break your budget and make you lose your home if you don't have the right plan. So I'm so passionate about this because I too own a home. I bought a home back in 2010 in Memphis, Tennessee. I bought a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom home, 2,700 square feet for 150,000. Did all the right things to get in. Did not do all the right things once I got in. I didn't have the financial literacy enough to understand how real estate worked then. I didn't step up my financial literacy. I did not save for repairs. Got behind on a few things, and I had to sell my house at a short sale. And when I sold my house, I had to sell it for 167,000. And what a short sale means, you basically everybody gets paid but you. So I had to sell it because I couldn't keep up with everything. Sold the house. 2020 comes, COVID hits. My home went from 167 to 225. 2021 comes around, it went from 225 to like 250. By the end of 2021, it was like at 275. Then 2022, it should closer to the 300 mark. 2023, it was worth $325,000. I haven't looked at it lately, but I'm pretty sure that it's almost to that 400,000 mark. I just let it go. So I missed out on like a $200,000 bag because I did not have the financial literacy enough to understand how real estate works. So that's why I'm so passionate about teaching people on how to not fumble the bag. And yes, your primary home can be a bag, as I just explained. I fumbled $200,000 worth of real estate. So I let that slip through my fingers because I wasn't knowledgeable enough. So I'm here to educate you. So we're talking about that big thing that a lot of people talk about when they own in a home. People don't save for the repairs. Supposed to have homeowners insurance. You're supposed to have home warranty, but sometimes those things are not covered because you didn't read um, your policy correct. You didn't get the right coverages. Something happened that is an unfortunate circumstance where it's not covered under those policies. So you have to have that budget. So homeowners don't go broke from bills. They go broke from surprises. So let's make your next big repair a non-event by having a plan. So I got like a 3-step plan that I'm gonna give you, and then we're gonna get out of here for today. So even if you're not a homeowner, if you are thinking about becoming a homeowner, if you are, in the process of being a homeowner, this is for you as well, not just homeowners. So you're going to talk about the 3 rules to know your numbers, how to build a simple repair sinking fund. What do you do when a 5K, 20K repair hits So you got a decision ladder there, how to pay less for the same work, claim or pay cash. So we're going to do some quick math as well. So the first rule of thumb is know your numbers. And I stress this a lot. You have to know your numbers when you're talking about your home. You should be doing a walkthrough, walk around, looking at your home, paying attention to what's going on, knowing even though you got other people to repair it, you don't want to get duped into paying more than what it's supposed to cost. So you need to make sure that you're doing all that you can to know these things. So there is a 1%, 3% rule, right? So you save 1 to 3% of your home value per year for repairs. That's the rule. Now, if you had a situation where you can't do that, you need to just put back something, right? So for example, if your home is valued at 220,000, so that means you need to have 2,200 to $6,600 a year saved in your home fund. And that should be a separate fund. Nothing else should be going in and out of there. It's your whole separate fund. So that equates to $185 to $550 a month, depending on what your budget is. Right? Some people, don't have, outstanding other debts that are, accumulating. So you might be able to save a little bit more, but you need to be between that 185 to 550 if you had a $220,000 home value. So you can do the 1%. It's a 1% to 3%. You can do 2%. You can go in that middle if you want. And you can do, maybe you only can do $100, but you're doing something, right? That's still $1,200 you're saving, and you're putting that in a high yield savings account. So just understand that. So understand the age factor of your home. Okay, homes 25 years plus. You want to add an additional $50 per month per decade over 20 years. So you want to make sure that because the older homes, need some more extensive repair, unless it's like been remodeled or whatever. You need to make sure if you're an investor, it's something to think about too. You got to have a home repair plan for your investment properties. Definitely got to have one for that. This is for, like I said, this is for future home buyers, homeowners, and investors, because you should be having this fund too. So, for example, if your home is 40 years old, you need $100 a month buffer. Okay. So of course, people be like, the newer the home, the better, but sometimes newer homes break down too. But you got to make sure you're watching. So what are the biggest expenses when it comes to a home? You got roof, HVAC, water heaters, sewer mains, plumbing, electrical panels. And then make sure all of these things, and make sure that you're paying attention to your foundation. That's another thing. If cracks in your driveway, cracks in your wall, make sure you're paying attention to that, because those small cracks can turn into big cracks, because something is either, the house is going to move because the earth moves. So certain things are going to, shift a little bit. But if you start seeing larger and they're growing and they're moving, then there's something wrong. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. Track installed dates and lifespans. So for example, a roof nowadays only lasts like 10 to 12 years. About 10 to 15 years, depending on the quality of roof that you get. Now, if you have like a metal roof, they last like 40. But they're a little bit more expensive to install in certain cities and, complexes. And if you live in a place where it has homeowners, fees and things of that nature, HOA fees, then, homeowner association fees, then you can't get certain things. They might want a composite roof, you can't do a metal roof and all these different things. So you have to make sure that you are contented to those rules. But there are different things that you can do, like here in Michigan, a lot of people have the composite roofs. Out in California and hotter, like Arizona, they have like those clay kind of roofs or whatever. Metal roofs are used usually like in country, rural areas, but you can get them in the city too. So just make sure that you're paying attention to those main items, those big items that could, roof, HVAC, water heater, sewer main, electrical panel, foundation, those type of things. Hello, Araga. How are you this lovely Tuesday. Um, so the second thing is you want to build your repair sinking fund, right? You want to do that. So you're going to open a separate high yield savings account, and you're going to name it home repairs, and you want to automate monthly transfers. Get it out your hands. Make sure that you're getting it out your hands. Make sure that it's going um, right directly to that account, right? You want to create target buckets, right? Roof, $4, 12K, HVAC $5, 12K, water heater, $1, 12K, sewer $4, 10K, like panels, $2, 5K. Like you want to create those buckets, right? To put that in there. So for example, contribute $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. In 24 months, you'll have $7,200 plus interest, especially if your home is newly built. It'll be, um, it'll be great, for you still to be able to save that at that time, because then when things happen, you won't be trying to figure out how to pay for it. Because like I said, home warranties, homeowners insurance, great. But if you don't read your policies, if you don't understand your coverages, because um, homeowner insurance can be tricky, because certain events that happen to your home, because that protects the dwelling, the roof, certain things that happen. But if certain events happen, like, some type of seasonal type of thing, and lightning strikes and the house catch it something, or the roof, the wind blows the shingles off, like they're going to find a way not to pay. So you got to have that next egg and putting it in the high yield savings account so that it's growing, the interest of, 4 to almost 5%. Now, if you're really risky, you'll put it in the market. I'm talking about the stock market. You're talking about 8 to 10%, but you just got to be able to play that game. So, the high yield savings account is your best bet. So the next thing is, when a 5K to 20K repair hits, you have a decision to make. So what are you going to do? So it's a safety stop the bleed first. So, leaks, gas, electrical hazards, those things have to be rectified immediately, because you can't have electrical problems, you can't have gas problems, can't have water problems, because water can damage a whole lot of things. I remember when I bought my first house, I was just telling you about it. I I came home one day, and I lifted the garage, and it was raining in my garage. And I went in the house, it was water going everywhere. I had been gone from the house for like 6 hours. So I finally found what happened at that point. And it it was a small little valve from my toilet that was leaking, and it sprayed water everywhere. For 6 hours I was gone. So it caused water damage all throughout my house. My whole house was flooded by the time I got home. Like I said, when I lifted my garage, it was raining in my garage. It was when I went in my kitchen, it was water like halfway up my leg. I'm 5'10". When I went, it was water coming from my light fixtures. Like, so they had to replace all my ceilings, all my drywall, all my flooring, all of the things. So water can do a lot of damage. So make sure that you're understanding that. So insurance eligible, right, covers peril, wear, and tear. If if a claim, you know your deductibles and know your premium impact. Okay, you're welcome. But I'm getting you prepared. I'm getting you prepared. You're welcome. Um, so know your deductibles, know your premium impact. So when you have, see, the insurance company don't tell you this, right? So you're only supposed to have like one claim within a certain amount of years. So you need to know that. So some of them are 2 years, some of them are 5 years, some of them are 10, and your deductible, depending on what you set that up to be, could be just like your car insurance. But your premium is going to increase because of that. They're gonna make you pay for the insurance every month. Then you have a hazard that you got to use insurance. They make you pay again by increasing your premium until it falls off within the time frame. So pay cash from your sinking fund. So that's a way for you to combat that because you have that fund. That's there for. You can use a zero APR promo, right? Credit card, 12 to 18 months, only if auto pay to $0 before promo ends. You got to make sure that you're paying that off. But that means that your credit is up to par. If you get in that 0% APR, you in the high 700s, 800s if you're able to get that. So, my dad used to hop around and do that credit card hacking all the time. So he knew how to play that game. And then if you have been in your home for a while, you might have an opportunity to use a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, which you take a loan out on your equity that's on your home. So what is your equity? Your equity is basically what you owe versus your home value. So you'll have a gap in between there. So for instance, if your home is worth 200,000 and you only owe 150, then you have $50,000 that you can borrow from your home equity line of credit. So this is only used for like larger work though. If you're trying to remodel something that's going to add value. So your interest is tax deductible though, and it substantially improves the home. But make sure you consult a tax pro on that. So the last thing you want to do is personal loans. That's the last resort. Keep the terms less than or greater than useful life of the repair. That's what you want to do. So for example, if your roof costs $12,000, your fund has $7,500 cash plus a 0% promo. If you use a credit card, you got $4,500 you got to put on there, paid at $250 a month for 18 months. So that's just, a little math there. So pay less for the same repairs. How do you do that? Right? So get 3 written line item bids with specific text, or specific brands and specs. Ask for good, better, best. You want to see those bids. Always make sure that you are looking for, the people that give you the quality work, right? You want customer feedback. You want to see their work, pictures or whatever to see who you're going to pick. So negotiations, right? So if I schedule during the week, during your slow, can you take off 5 to 10%? You might be able to come in there with some discount if if there's an incentive, right? So payments are usually 10% deposit, then 40% midway, 50% at completion, plus sign lien waivers. So what I'm talking about is do not pay these contractors all their money up front. No. They have to show you the work before they get all their money. So 10% deposit, midway through, you see the progress, you inspecting it, it's doing what they're supposed to do, they get the next 40%. Then at completion, they get the 50%. And sign lien waivers are taken off. So what the lien waiver is, like, that's protecting them if you don't pay. So they'll put a lien on your property if you don't pay them. And then when you try to sell the property, you'll have to pay them at closing. So make sure that you're verifying their permits, license, insurance, and warranty in writing. Don't let them tell you anything. You need to see it for yourself. Know what those things look like, right? Make sure that you understand what you're doing, okay? Insurance. So when to claim. Let's talk about that. Claim for sudden accidental damage, storm, tree, hail, skip wear and tear. Only do that for things that were out of your control. Avoid small claims near the deductible. You're going to have a considerable premium hike if you do. So make sure you understand that. So for example, if you have a $3,500 repair, you got a $2,000 deductible, because the higher deductible, the lower your insurance rate. Insurer pays $1,500. If premiums, plus $300 a year times 3 years, that's equal $900. Net benefit is $600. So do the math. Okay. So this is why you plan ahead, right? So water heater in 18 months, right? $1,600, save $90 a month, right? HVAC in 24 months, 9,000, save $300 a month or $200 a month plus tax refund bonus to close the gap, right? Replace versus repair. That's what you need to know the difference. So replace when repair cost is greater than 40 to 50% of the replacement until you pass 70% of life. That's what you do. So replace versus repair. You're going to replace when the repair cost is greater than 40 to 50% of the replacement and until the past is past 70% of his life. So energy payback. New furnace saves $45 a month. That's $550 a year. If upgrades cost $2,500 or more, payback equals 4.6 years. Okay, so here could you come into some pitfalls and some preventative moves. So older homes, like we have in Detroit, have sewer line problems. They're trying to fix them, but all of them are not fixed. So they have sewer line rot, lead service lines, undersized electrical panels, masonry porch repairs. All of these things are happening in older homes. So make sure that you're understanding that in older homes, you need to make sure you're paying attention to these things. And a lot of times, if it's something that in the sewer, you might be able to get the city to pay for it, but they might find a way not to. So be preventative. So how would be preventative? $200 to $350 annual HVAC tune-up, sewer camera inspections before buying or landscaping. So there's preventative measures, right? So let's do the recap. I'm done talking. Did I bore you? Look. But this is all pertinent information for you to know to be able to be the best homeowner you can be, right? So recap, you use the 1 to 3% rule, okay? Age rule, 1 to 3% rule plus age buffer plus big 5 watch list. What are those 5? Electrical, HVAC, roof, plumbing, and foundation. Okay, use decision ladder when emergencies hit. So you got to make the best decision. Are you going to use your insurance? Are you going to pay out of your sinking fund? Because you should have one. You're going to pay up with a 0% credit card. You're going to use a HELOC. But HELOC should only be used for, I feel like HELOC should only be used for work that's like $20,000 or more. That's just my opinion, but you can do what you want to do. So just to give you something for being so great, comment repair plan for my worksheet and calculator that I created, and grab my ebook, House Rich and Money Smart, How to Turn Your Home into a Wealth Building Powerhouse for the Full System. And follow, share, and subscribe. Let some other homeowners know about this. If you're a future homeowner, hey, listen, this is for you as well. So make sure that you are taking heed to this advice, making sure that you understand that owning a home does not have to be a burden. You just have to be prepared. You have to have a plan, and I have that plan. So like I said, you can comment repair plan. That I can give you my worksheet and the calculator for free. And if you want something to go along with the plan, you can purchase my ebook, House Rich and Money Smart, which has all of that makeup in there. All right. So I bid you adieu. Everybody have an amazingly beautiful, blessed night. And I'll see you again on Real Estate Tuesday next week. Have an amazing day. What the? Huh? Ah! E erased my live from Facebook.